Well, an ancient discovery is shedding light on the early church. The Megiddo mosaic dates back nearly 2,000 years, and experts believe it decorated one of the earliest Christian worship sites in Israel.
For 1,500 years, the mud along the shores of the Sea of Galilee guarded a secret that was never meant to be found. Historians believe that every word Jesus ever spoke to his disciples had already been captured, written in ink, sealed inside the Bible, closed forever. But they were wrong. On the northern edge of the Sea of Galilee, a team of archaeologists recently peeled back layers of waterlogged earth and uncovered something extraordinary: a Byzantine-era mosaic floor, perfectly preserved beneath centuries of slime and silt. And embedded within that mosaic was a message, one that had been hidden since the age of the Roman Empire. It was a direct command from Jesus to Peter, a command no gospel writer ever recorded. And the words don't just add a footnote to history, they threaten to shake the very foundation of Christian belief. The legend beneath the water. Local legends are stubborn things. For generations, fishermen in the Galilee region told strange stories. During droughts, they claimed carved stones would briefly emerge from the receding shoreline. They whispered about walls beneath the water, about a great house swallowed by mud. Most scholars dismiss these stories as folklore, but a small archaeological team decided to take the risk. They weren't searching for gold. They weren't chasing treasure. They were hunting something far more elusive. A city mentioned repeatedly in the Bible, yet missing from the map for nearly 2,000 years. Bethsaida, digging for a lost city. The excavation began in brutal summer heat. The air hung thick with moisture and decay. The ground was saturated, unstable. Pumps ran constantly to stop the lake from flooding the trenches. Every foot they dug, the water fought back. It felt as if the land itself was resisting. For weeks, the skeptics appeared correct. The team found mud, scattered Roman pottery, broken tiles, nothing more. Morale dropped, funding wavered. Then one afternoon, a volunteer's trowel struck something solid, not dirt, stone, a sharp, unmistakable sound. They cleared the area carefully by hand. A line emerged, then a corner, then a wall, perfectly straight, engineered with precision. As the excavation widened, the scale became clear. This was no fisherman's hut. The walls were massive, permanent, built to endure. And then they found it. The curved outline of an apse, the semicircular feature reserved for church altars. This wasn't just any structure. It was a basilica, and its location matched ancient pilgrimage accounts describing the house of Peter. The mud that preserved history. For centuries, scholars laughed at those pilgrim stories. They claimed the real site was miles inland, on dry land. A fishing village couldn't exist in a swamp. But the mud told a different story. As the team cleaned the floor, colors began to emerge. Reds, blues, golds, a mosaic, perfectly preserved. Ironically, the mud that should have destroyed the site had sealed it instead, protecting it from looters, weather, and war. And then they saw the text. Greek letters woven into the geometric design. A message frozen in time, built on something older. The discovery only deepened. Beneath the Byzantine church lay another layer. Roman-era homes, fishing gear, lead net weights, hooks, coins dated precisely to the 1st century. This was the Smoking Gun, a fishing village active during the lifetime of Jesus. And the church above wasn't placed randomly. The Byzantine builders had centered it with obsessive precision over one specific house. They preserved its walls, treated its dirt floor as sacred. You don't build a massive basilica over an ordinary home, unless that home mattered. The conclusion was unavoidable. Early Christians believed this was Peter's house. Despite the curse spoken over Bethsaida, woe to you, a remnant remained. They remembered. They guarded the site. They waited. And when Christianity became legal, they built a vault over the memory. The mosaic speaks. The inscription began like many others, a dedication to a bishop. Then it changed tone. It named Peter, not merely as an apostle, but as the chief and commander of the heavenly apostles. Those words matter. They imply hierarchy, authority, leadership. This single phrase reignites Christianity's oldest debate. Was Peter supreme, or merely first among equals? Here, in Peter's own hometown, the answer leaned unmistakably toward supremacy, but that wasn't the shock. The inscription also called Peter the key bearer, a reference to Jesus granting him the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And then came something unprecedented: the hidden ring. The text wasn't confined to one block. Surrounding it was a circular medallion. Inside that ring were faint, nearly invisible letters, worn down by centuries of footsteps, or perhaps deliberately carved lightly. Infrared imaging revealed the truth. The faded letters formed a direct quote, spoken by the Lord himself. But it didn't match any known gospel. What appeared on the screen silenced the tent. The reconstructed sentence read, "Guard my house, for I go to prepare the heavens," a command that changes everything. Nowhere in the New Testament does Jesus tell Peter to guard my house. And while Jesus does say, "I go to prepare a place for you," this phrasing is different. This implies division of labor. Jesus departs to prepare the heavens. Peter stays behind, to guard something physical. A house, not a metaphor, an actual place, the very house beneath their feet. This aligns with ancient agrapha, sayings attributed to Jesus that never entered the Bible. Many exist in scattered texts. Most are dismissed, but this one was carved into stone at a major pilgrimage site. That gives it weight. It suggests the people of Bethsaida remembered something the gospel writers left out: guardian, not administrator. This command reframes Peter entirely, not as a manager of believers, but as a sentinel, a protector. Early Christians believed holy places were battlegrounds, contested ground between forces unseen. To guard the house may have meant guarding a threshold, a boundary, and that idea leads somewhere unsettling. The anchor point theory. Why here? Why this exact location? Why would the preparation of the heavens require a physical point on earth to be guarded? Some fringe scholars believe certain locations act as anchors, points where the spiritual and physical intersect. As above, so below. Not metaphorically, literally. Bethsaida wasn't ordinary ground. This is where blind men saw, where food multiplied from nothing, where water bore weight. The laws of physics bent here, viewed through a different lens, not theology, but systems. The pattern changes. Reality behaved. What if Peter wasn't guarding a church? What if he was guarding a breach, the gatekeepers? Ancient Gnostic texts, later condemned and destroyed, speak of guardians and thresholds, watchers assigned to protect boundaries between realms. Could this mosaic be a remnant of that older, wilder Christianity, before doctrine flattened mystery into hierarchy? If so, Peter wasn't a fisherman turned administrator. He was a gatekeeper, left behind with the keys while the architect stepped away. Buried again. The church wasn't destroyed by war. It collapsed during an earthquake in the 8th century. The ground swallowed it whole. For over 1,000 years, the site vanished, unguarded, or perhaps hidden for protection. Now, as the water recedes and technology advances, the house has resurfaced. The timing feels deliberate. The message feels aimed forward. The question that remains. The archaeologists have packed up. The mosaic lies reburied beneath sandbags. But the words are loose now. You can't unread them. If Jesus gave Peter instructions that never entered the Bible, how many others are missing? Was Peter guarding a house or a gateway? And if the command waited 2,000 years to be uncovered, what was it waiting for? So here's the real question. Was this just a beautiful ancient floor, or a message deliberately hidden for the future? If you have a theory, drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if you enjoy uncovering lost history and forbidden ideas, hit like and subscribe, because next time we're digging even deeper.